bitch, I already know it. I come with bad weather. They say I'm a storm.
This is an incest case that led to a murder-suicide, a true crime story. This incest case that led to a murder-suicide is between a father and a daughter. Incest is a sexual intercourse relationship between persons that are closely related and they are forbidden by law to marry. Incest between adults is a felony. It can lead to 5 years to life in prison, depending on the state. Incest against children is punished just as severely, if not more so. It's also been called a genetic sexual attraction, which is disturbing and weird to me. Let's get into this story. In 1995, Steven Pladl was 20 years old and living in New York when he met a 15-year-old girl named Alyssa Garcia, who lived in Texas, on the internet. Eventually, Steven traveled to Texas and started a physical relationship with Alyssa. What I want to know and understand is why would Alyssa's parents allow this to take place? They should have saw a red flag from the moment they found out his age and how far he traveled to be with their daughter. His ass would have been in jail because her parents definitely did not approve of the relationship, but they also didn't do anything about it either. This entire story could have been avoided if he was locked up right away from the very beginning. Moving on, in 1998, Alyssa became pregnant and gave birth to a baby girl that they named Denise. Steven had an explosive temper and became abusive to his wife Alyssa and their daughter Denise. Alyssa recalls times that he would pinch the baby, and there was even times where Denise would be crying and he would curse and yell and say, "Shut that baby up." He would get so angry that he would put Denise in an ice chest cooler, which could have suffocated the baby. The couple was so young and poor. Because of all of these events, they put the girl up for adoption when she was 8 months old. Alyssa said this was the only way to keep her safe. It was so hard to give her up, said Alyssa, but I had to do it because I wanted her to live and to be happy. Despite all she knew about Steven, Alyssa eventually married him, and then they had 2 more kids. One baby girl born in 2007 and another baby girl born in 2012. Now, I understand that in an abusive relationship, it's easier said than done to leave. Steven's temper didn't get any better. He would punch walls and throw things whenever he got angry. He even tortured poor kitty cats. That's a crime in itself. Steven, in my opinion, was the biggest coward and a huge man baby. What grown man goes around throwing things and having full-on tantrums when things aren't going their way? This man should have been locked up from day one. Men like this makes me so angry because they take things out on women, but I bet you they won't fight a man. Not so long after Denise was given up for adoption, she was adopted by Tony and his wife Kelly. I'm not going to say the last name because I am bad with names. Anyway, she was adopted by Tony and Kelly, and it was then that the adoptive parents renamed her Katie and raised her with their biological daughter in Dover, about 80 miles north of New York City, in which her and her adoptive family had a very normal life. Katie was outspoken, she loved animals, she was a vegetarian, and she loved drawing. Many thought of her as an aspiring artist. She planned to attend college and pursue a career in digital advertising after graduating high school. Once Katie turned 18 years old in January of 2016, Katie had been told that she was adopted. She became curious about where she came from. She searched on all social media platforms until she found her birth parents. She sent them a message. Her birth parents were so happy to reunite with her. But what started out as a joyful reunion soon turned ugly, then disgusting, and then finally it led to a tragedy. Instead of going to college in August 2016, Katie moved in with her birth parents in Henrico County, Virginia. Tony and Kelly, her adoptive parents, were concerned, but they thought Katie was old enough to make her own decisions and supported her. I really wish baby girl would have just decided to go to get to know them instead of moving right in with them. Not all was well with the couple within their household. They decided to separate and were sleeping in separate bedrooms. Steven couldn't even keep a job, which was also stressful. Alyssa said she had suffered emotional and verbal abuse by her husband for years, and he owned several guns, which was terrifying too. She was always walking on eggshells. His mood wasn't happy for the most part. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of things being smashed in the house in front of the kids, but Steven's behavior changed once he met Katie. He started wearing skinny jeans, tight-fitting shirts, he cut his beard, and he let his hair grow long. Then 6 weeks after Katie moved in, this creep started weirdly sleeping on the floor in her bedroom at night. It immediately concerned Alyssa, so she confronted his ass. And do you know what this crazy man said to her? He told Alyssa it was none of her business and stormed out of the house with Katie. She even tried to warn Katie about the abuse he was putting them through and told her about the abuse that had taken place when she was a baby, but Katie did not care or show any type of concern. Alyssa finally moved out in November of 2016 and filed for divorce. In May 2017, Alyssa read her 11-year-old daughter's journal and discovered that Katie and Steven were in an incestuous relationship and Katie was pregnant. The little girl drew disturbing pictures, saying that her dad was Satan and also saying that her dad was calling Katie babe. Her daughter also wrote that she and the other sister were told by their dad to refer to Katie as their stepmother. She instantly became hysterical. She called him. She asked him, "Is Katie pregnant with your baby?" He said, "I thought you knew. We're in love." Ew, you nasty bastard. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to say it. That is so disgusting. You may not have raised her, but that is still your daughter. I hope that this man rests in hell. Anyway, Alyssa began cursing him out and asking him, "How could you? You're sick. She's a child." Not just a child, but his firstborn. This is a really sick world that we live in. After she hung up, she called the police immediately. She also placed a protective order for the two girls to keep them away from their father. On July 20th, 2017, 2 months after the divorce from Alyssa was finalized, Steven Pladl married Katie in Parkton, Maryland. They lied on their applications, saying that they were unrelated, according to the records. Katie's adoptive parents posed for the photo on the wedding day, along with Steven, Katie, and Steven's mother. Alyssa said everyone knew. She couldn't understand how could they all be there celebrating this incestuous marriage. She said it is beyond me. Tony and Kelly, the adoptive parents, allegedly thought there was nothing that they could do and had decided to just support Katie. That is just stupid. That is just the stupidest thing I ever heard. What the hell is wrong with these people? This just wasn't any situation that should have been supported. This was actually disgusting. Y'all, just look at these people. Katie wore a short black dress while sporting her pregnant baby belly as she shared a kiss in front of the lake while everyone posed and stood around them smiling at this foolishness. Now, I don't know if you believe in God, but this is sinful. Oh my God. Months later, Katie gave birth to Bennett on September 1st of 2017. Her and Steven moved into a house in Knightdale, North Carolina. But the newlywed bliss did not last long. Because do y'all remember when Alyssa called the police? Guess what? They were still investigating the two. So after the baby was born, the police did a DNA test on Katie, Steven, and their newborn son. Later, they were arrested on incest charges in January of 2018. About damn time. After the arrest, the judge ordered them not to have any contact with each other in any way, shape, or form, and gave Steven's mother custody of baby Bennett. Maybe the court should have ordered these two to do some type of shock therapy. Shit, if you ask me, anyone who's attracted to their own kids should get it. Because there's no reason. I don't understand. There's got to be some type of mental illness for you to want to have sex with your family member. Ugh. Steven's lawyer, Rick Fredman II, put out a statement saying, this is a case of an 18-year-old girl who shows up at the doorstep of a 40-year-old man who is going through some difficult times with his wife. They have bonded because they are biologically related, but they never knew each other before. They had a sexual relationship. He was head over heels in love with her, so much that he outweighed the issue of them being biologically related. You nasty-ass lawyer. How could you even make a statement like that? Like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. All right, so let's get back to the story, y'all. I'm just giving my commentary in the middle because this story is really unbelievable to me. After being released from jail, Katie moved back with her adoptive parents. She finally came to the conclusion that what they were doing wasn't right. She had made a bad decision and she decided to call Steven and end their relationship once and for all. Steven was devastated and very upset by the news. He felt like he lost his entire family. Yeah, you idiot, you did. Because you lost your wife because you wanted to be nasty and a pig and wanted to be abusive. Now you lost I'm not calling her a wife. You've lost your daughter because you decided to abuse your power and manipulate her because this had to be some form of manipulation. There's no way that this girl was just okay with that. I just have to say it. He was the father. He was 20 years older than her. Come on now. Anyway, on April 11 of 2018, he picked up his baby boy from his mother and lied to her saying he was going to take the baby to see Katie. Steven took the baby to his house in North Carolina and strangled him to death, leaving his lifeless body in the house in a closet. He was so enraged. He then drove to New York to Katie's adoptive parents' house to stalk Katie. He sat in his minivan, and once Katie and her adoptive father left, Steven followed the two of them. They were on their way to see the adoptive grandmother. When Katie's truck stopped at a stop sign, Steven took advantage of the situation and opened fire. The bullets pierced through their brains, instantly killing them both. This horrible tragedy was witnessed by an off-duty firefighter who called 911 right away. He described the murder on how it happened and the suspect Steven in his blue minivan. The 911 dispatcher also received a call from Steven's mother. Here is 911 call from Steven's mother saying how he killed the baby.
My son just called me and he told me he killed his baby. And he's in the house. He killed his wife. He killed her father. And I can't even believe this is happening.
When did this happen? He said he left last night. He called me, I think maybe about 7 last night. And said he was on his way to New York. He was going to bring to his wife and give it to her. And then he'd be back. And he called me this morning. I just got off the phone just a couple minutes ago. Oh, God. He told me to call the police, that I shouldn't go over there.
Okay, so so your son is not there?
No, the house is empty. He said he put a key under the front mat. A key to get into the house under the front mat.
Did he say how he did it? Or when he did it?
I did ask him.
Now I'm going to play you the call from the off-duty firefighter.
This is Connecticut. It's on Route 7 and Route 55. Someone just went by and shot this guy in the truck.
Somebody just shot somebody in a truck on Route 55, sir?
Yes, we get to Route 55 and Route 7. It just happened. I'm a fireman out in New York. The car pulled up, went around him, shot him. Whole clip full into his head.
Okay, sorry. Is you still with him?
We're here at the road.
Where? Right at the intersection?
Yes, sir. Right at the intersection.
Okay, sir.
He's deceased, boss. The truck's in the middle of the road.
He's dead?
Yes, sir. Behind him. As soon as he opened fire and shot these two people, he went up there around them.
Are there two people deceased, sir?
Yes, sir.
There's two people deceased.
Now that we've heard both 911 calls, I have to say, Steven's mom really irritated me because when she calls them about Steven's confession and about him killing his baby, killing Katie, and the adoptive father, I just want to know why she kept referring to Katie as his wife. I'm just wondering if she was delusional too, because that's not right, honey. You should have told your son right from wrong. This is just so sad. This man was clearly disturbed. He's so selfish and sick. That poor little baby did not deserve this. He was totally innocent in this horrible situation. They eventually found Steven. The minivan was 5 miles from the crime scene, and Steven was also found in the car, but it was too late to arrest him as he had taken his own life by shooting himself. He's still a coward. He's once again another coward, a double coward, a triple coward, because you had the audacity to take these people's life, and because you couldn't handle the fact of what you did, you got to head off yourself. Your ass should have went to jail. That's what should have happened. Alyssa grieved over her daughter's murder, but at the same time, she felt free of her ex-husband. She says, it's such a relief that I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore to see if Steve is there. Guys, and that is the end of the story. I can't even say I hope you guys enjoyed the story because this was so sad, so depressing. It just makes you want to hold on to your kids even harder. I'm not the best parent in the world, and I don't think anyone is, but parents, please, even if you want to support your child in a decision once they are old enough to make their own decision, you can't stop them from doing something. But at the same time, please sit down and tell your children at least how you feel. You don't know what % of what you're saying may penetrate their brains and they may actually listen. Don't just say, well, I'm going to support my child any way possible. Whether that's your biological child, whether that's your foster child, whether that's your adoptive child, whether you're the guardian of that child, say something. There's no type of support that should be going into having an incestuous relationship with a family member. There's zero support for me. She should have had no one at that wedding. The parents, none of the parents should have showed up. And Steven's mom need her ass kicked, for one. And what kind of mother are you to sit back and not say anything? And you were not supposed to release that baby to that damn man. Listen, just hear me out, people. If the court said that he is not to go nowhere near Katie and vice versa, why would you let him take his child if he told you verbatim that I am taking him to see Katie? That's when you should have said right in there, no, you're not, because you're legally not allowed to do that. You didn't do nothing. You just sat back and were like, oh, okay. Just like you sat back and said, oh, okay, and let them get married and didn't say anything. Her ass needs to be in jail too. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Her ass needs to be in jail, and the adoptive parents, well, rest in peace to the man because he didn't deserve to die. But at the time, they should have been questioned and locked up. Isn't that some type of accessory to a crime? Like you were literally there and allowed it to happen and you didn't say anything. This is a sad story, y'all, and I get really passionate when things are fucked up in the world. So that's why I'm irritated by this whole entire situation, because it's just sick. Rest in peace to the adoptive parent and to the baby. Rest in peace to Katie. That man, Steven, gets no sympathy from me. Nada. Because at least I can say Katie was young and just didn't know any better. He knew better. And he should have been locked up somewhere and never released. Never. All right, y'all, that's the end of this story. Let me know your comments down below. Get passionate about it, too, in the comment section. Tell me exactly how you feel about this situation. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of this video. On my channel, I share my pure and honest views on everything that's going on in the world. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and wait for more content coming your way. Until next time, Lady Storm is blowing his tea out.